Welcome back to All This Math. This is Professor Parker. Please, if you're not already, make sure you go ahead and hit the button, subscribe to the channel. Also, like this video so we can get into the algorithm. Drop a comment down below. And if you have a question about something that I end up explaining, if you don't fully understand it, then put your question in the comments. Also, share this video with at least one other person. Now, this particular video is for, I'm making this video, for my nephews, for three of my nephews, not all my nephews, but just three of them in particular, Zaire, Maceo, and Zen. All right, that's them up there. All right. So Zaire, Maceo, and Zen, if y'all watching this, lock in. Lock in. Make sure you got paper. Make sure you got a pen or a pencil, right? And don't get distracted. All right. Pay attention. All right. Now, before we go on, I want to shout out the ancestor, Bantu Steve Biko. Steve Biko was from Azania, also known as South Africa. He was anti-apartheid fighter, right? Really fighting. A lot of people throw the word fight around real loosely, but he was really fighting, right? They had to murder him in jail, right? He would not back down, right? He wanted freedom for his people. All right. This is a book that he wrote called I Write What I Like. I Write What I Like by Steve Biko. It's a collection of essays. He was a medical school student. He was a medical school student while fighting against apartheid. All right. There's also a movie which stars Denzel Washington. It's from the 1980s called Cry Freedom, which kind of features some of his experiences. It has a lot to do with other people that were involved at the time. But you may want to check that movie out, Cry Freedom. But also check out this book, I Write What I Like, a collection of essays by Steve Biko. If you want to learn more about this brother. All right. Now, let's get into this multiplication. So we multiply two-digit numbers by one-digit numbers and one-digit numbers by two-digit numbers. So let's look at number one. Let's say 17 times 9 or 17 9 times. What's the total or what's the product, right? What would that be, right? Now, what could that represent? You know how ESPN or the NFL be coming up with all these random stats. So like, let's say they want to know how many, well, they say if a particular team had 9 17-yard run plays or 9 17-yard pass plays, right? How many yards would that be in total? How many yards would that be in total? What you would do is 17 times 9. That's what you would do. Look at number two. If a certain group of teams, right, scored 83 touchdowns, touchdown is worth 6 points. A certain collection of teams scored 83 touchdowns. How many points would that be altogether? 83 times 6 would give you your answer or your product, your result, your total. 8 times 64, right? If a certain team had a certain team had touchdown, 2 point conversion combination, and they did it 64 times, how many points is that? 8 times 64 would give you the answer to that. All right. So you see how we use math, we use multiplication, right, to answer questions in real life. So if you enjoy watching football, you need to know math. If you're not that good at math, if you got better at math, you might even enjoy the game even more. You never know, right? Especially if you play the game. So look, so 17 times 9. Let's do 17 times 9. Now, we're not using a calculator for this. We're using our brain, our original calculator. All right, 17 times 9. Wait, I don't want to use this color. 17 times 9. Let's do the green. All right, so what I do is I take the larger number or the two-digit number and I decompose it or I break it down into two numbers. One number that ends in 0, because that makes the multiplication easy, and the other number that's remaining. So 17 can be broken down into 10 plus 7. 10 plus 7. I also could have broke 17 down into 20 minus 3. 20 minus 3, right? So 10 plus 7 or 20 minus 3. All right. So now we're going to basically use something that's called the distributive property. The distributive property. To distribute means to give out. Give out. So we're going to distribute or give this 9 to both of these numbers. Now, this method is a good method. It's very helpful. You can use it for mental math. So if you're just out at a store or like I said, watching a football game, you want to do some, calculate some statistics on your own off the top of your head, you can use this method, right? But you have to know your multiplication facts. You need to know your multiplication facts in order to do this. So make sure you have your multiplication facts memorized. And the best way to memorize multiplication facts is by doing multiplication on a daily basis, every day. That's how I memorize my multiplication facts, by just doing multiplication. You do multiplication and you end up memorizing the multiplication facts, just like you end up memorizing words in the English language from talking. We talk every day and then we end up memorizing words. words in the English language. That's what ends up happening. It's just that simple. Mathematics is the same way. If you just do multiplication and practice multiplication on a daily basis, right? You will end up having the multiplication facts memorized. The one tables, the two tables, the three tables, the fours, the fives, the six, the sevens, the eights, the nines. You can go up to 12 as a minimum, but I would even go past 12. Memorize the 13 tables, memorize the 14s, the 15s, the 16s, the 17s, the 18s, the 19s, and the 20s, all that. Keep it going. All right. Now, distribute the 9 to the 10. 9 times 10 is 90. But 9 times 10 is also, you can act like the zero's not there and do 9 times 1. 9 times 1 is 9. And then attach the 0 to 9 and get 90. Either way, we get 90. So this would be 90. And then right here, 9 times 7. Again, multiplication facts. We should know 9 times 7 is 63. You got to just know that. All right. Then we're going to have 90 plus 63. Now, I would break the 63 down into 60 and 3. So I could do 90 plus 60 first. 90 plus 60 is 150. Just like 9 plus 6 is 15. So if you know your addition facts, right, between 1 and 20, then 90 plus 60 should be easy to do because, again, 90 plus 60 is similar to doing 9 plus 6 because you're adding an amount of tens. How many tens do you have? You got 9 of them and you got 6 of them. 9 of them and 6 of them. Altogether, you got 15 of them. 15 tens is like having 15 $10 bills, which is $150, right? Just 15 with a zero attached to it, 150. And then you add the 3, which is 153. Now, if anything I don't say on this video, if anything I say on this video does not make sense, pause and rewind, run it back. The second time you hear it, maybe the third time you hear it, it might make more sense. All right. Plus, we're doing 2 more examples anyway, so it might sink in that way too. So the answer is 153 for the first example. All right, 153. All right. So that means that the total yardage on those 17-yard pass plays or those 17-yard run plays is 153 yards. All right. Let's go to the second example. 83 touchdowns. How many points is that altogether? 83 touchdowns. How many points is that altogether? 83 times 6. I'm going to decompose 83 into 80 plus 3. And then I'm going to distribute the 6 to the 80 and distribute the 6 to the 3. Distribute the 6 to the 80. 6 times 80 is the same thing as doing 6 times 8 times 10. And multiplying by 10 means you just attach the 0 to the previous product. So what's 6 times 8? Make sure you know your multiplication facts. If you don't, pause the video. Go get a multiplication table, right? Go get one and then have that sitting right next to you. That's another way to help you memorize the multiplication facts. But like I said earlier, you got to practice multiplication. That's the best way to do this. The best way to memorize multiplication facts is to do multiplication. Just like, how did you memorize words in the English language? By talking. By talking and listening to other people talk. You listen to people talk in the English language and you talk in the English language. Math is the same way. Listen to people multiply numbers, and you practice multiplying numbers, and you too will memorize multiplication facts. All right. So now 6 times 80 is 480, because 6 times 8 is 48. Attach the 0, you get 480. 6 times 3 is 18. And what we did just now is called the distributive property. To distribute means to give out, to give out, to give out. Like we give out resources, right? Everybody should have resources. Everybody should have what they need, right? Right, in a fair society, right? This was Steve Biko was fighting for. South Africa then and now, it's not a fair society. There was apartheid, right? Apartheid South Africa. All right. So we distribute the 6 to 80 and get 480. Distribute the 6 to 3, we get 18. Then you add the 480 with the 18. I'm gonna do 480 plus 10 and get 490. Add the 8 to the 490, you get 498. So that's how many points. All the 83 touchdowns is worth 498 points. 498 points. All right, now this one. Touchdown and 2-point conversion. 64 times. Touchdown and 2-point conversion, 64 times. How many points is that? How many points is that? Let's see. Let's see how many points it is. 8 times 64. Let's break this 64 down. Break it down into 60 plus 4. We could have did 70 minus 6 if you wanted to. If you want to do that, we got options, right? Just like with this one, we could have did 90 instead of doing 80 plus 3. We could have did 90 minus 7 because that also equals 83. That also equals 83, right? You need a combination of numbers that adds up to or will subtract to equal this, right? And one of the numbers should end in 0. One of the numbers should end in 0, right? With this one, we could have also, instead of doing 10 plus 7, we could have did 20 minus 3. 20 minus 3. This is why knowing your addition facts and subtraction facts is important. Because if you know those facts, then when it's time to multiply numbers, you can figure out ways to do it mentally, and it's in an easier way, right? All the math skills build on previous math skills. So if you master your addition facts and subtraction facts, then when it's time to multiply, okay, cool, let's do it. All right. So now 8 times 60 is 8 times 6, which is 48. Just like 6 times 8 was 48. 8 times 6 is also 48, right? Then attach the 0, 480. What's 8 times 4? 32. Add them up. What's 480 plus 32? That might look a little tricky to you, right? What's 480 plus 30? 480 plus 30. So I could break 30 down into 20 and 10. 20 and 10. Why though? Why would I do that? Because 480 plus 20 is an even 500. So that's why I would do that, right? Again, all about making the math easier. Since I know that I got to do 480 plus 30, and I know that 480 plus 20 will give me an even 500, then why not break the 30 down into 20 plus 10? Why not? All right. So I do 480 plus 20, I get 500. Then I add the extra 10, I get 510. Now the 30 is taken care of. I'm at 510. Then I'm going to add the 2. What's 510 plus 2? 512. We got 512, right? So touchdown, 2-point conversion combination. If it happens 64 times, that is a total of 512 points. 512 points. All right. So you see how we use math and specifically multiplication and addition as a tool to answer questions in our life in situations where we just might be just watching football. We might be just chilling watching football, and we want to figure something out, right? This is what the math can be used for. It's a tool. It's not something that you just use in school, and then when the bell rings and you go home, you don't think about math. No, that's not how we should do, right? We should be using math at all times, and in any and every situation in life, we can use math, right? Don't listen to these people that make you feel like that's not true. They're lying. They're lying, and they're sadly mistaken. Math can be used in every area of your life. I promise you, right? Do not listen to these people that try to make you feel like math is irrelevant, math is dumb, math is stupid, math is pointless. You don't need to learn it. You know, you'll have a different quality of life, right? Now, if you're a young person watching this video, you're in elementary school, you might not understand that, but the adults watching, hopefully they understand it. You'll have a different quality of life if you understand mathematics, especially arithmetic, and you can apply it to answer questions that you are confronted with in your daily life, right? All right. So, like I said before, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Drop a comment down below. Drop a question. If something didn't make sense, put a question in the comments. I might make another video based on your question. All right. Go ahead. Put a question in the comments. Go ahead. All right. And share this video with at least one other person. All right. At least one other person. All right. Zaire, Maceo, Zen, y'all better share this video with somebody. Seriously. Share this video with somebody. All right. See y'all later. Peace.